Hi Internet, Vinnie D here. I want to take a minute to tell you a little story in today's Vinnie Vents. I want to tell you why I'm a cyclist. And no, I'm not a lifelong cyclist. I actually only took it up a few years ago. But I really hope to stay a cyclist for the rest of my life. And if I want to diverge a little bit, when I say cyclist, I mean anyone who rides a bike. Not a racer, not a mountain biker, not a commuter, not a guy who lost his license to too many DUIs. None of those exclusively hold the term cyclist. A cyclist is everyone on a bike, period. We are all cyclists. But to get back on topic, I want to tell you a story about little Vinnie. No, not that little Vinnie, you perverts. I mean me as a kid. Yes, a little bunlet. I was not very good with bicycles as a kid. I was a slow learner, really never got the hang of it until I was like 12. And even then, I wasn't very good. I usually needed the help of a tree to get started. So no, it was not a big thing for me. And the reason why? Didn't have much drive for it because my love of human-powered wheeled transport was not a bicycle, it was roller skates. I lived for roller skates. I would spend every weekend at the roller rink. Now this is before rollerblades really caught on that big, although they were still around at the time. Though they were more just for people playing street hockey. No, I'm talking quads, old school roller skates. It was all about going fast. The only tricks you really did were skating backwards and spinning. Which was fun too. Hell, I even had my own and liked to skate down the street. Maybe because I've always been kind of really seriously clumsy. Lousy balance, but skates? Those are just an extension of your body once you're used to them. You don't really need to be able to balance any better than you need to be able to balance to walk in order to roller skate. So that was my thing. Do you know why I stopped? I got too big. Growing up, my feet just got bigger. And you know what they don't make? Size 13 roller skates. Well, they make them now, but not back then. And they're still very, very expensive. I squeezed into smaller skates as long as I could, but eventually there was just no keeping up with it. Couldn't wear skates, so I couldn't skate. I tried skateboarding, but could never balance on the damn thing. The skateboard would just shoot right out from under me. So, sadly, I gave up human-powered movement. And of course, every American kid turns 16, gets their license, and never really looks back. And maybe that's an unfortunate part about our society. Oh, sure, I tried other things, but team sports weren't really my thing. I don't really care about anything with a ball. Martial arts was fun for a while. For a while, anyway. But you can really only take that so far unless you're willing to make a life of getting punched in the face on the weekend. So my hobbies became more sedentary. When you're heavy, running's too hard on the ankles. And cars are easy, and video games are fun. Well, fast forward to the year 2019. I'd gotten married not long ago, and my wife just went through a very difficult illness and was recovering, and I suddenly lose my mother to a heart attack. This was a very hard time in my life. Still hurts. I think about it. I'd lost 2 of my grandparents before I was even born to heart disease. A third before I got out of my teens. And here I am, overweight, probably staring down a heart attack of my own in 10 to 20 years. I knew I had to do something. Just going to the gym wasn't cutting it. I needed a change in my life. I needed a whole lot of cardio exercise, along with getting my diet straight, and thank you to my wonderful wife for helping me on that end. So, I got a bicycle. Figuring out riding after 20 more years off the bike? Yeah, that was a challenge. The trick is stomp the absolute hell out of the top pedal to get enough momentum to get yourself balanced. Then it just sort of clicks. The first time I rode, I had the gears not set up yet, and put an incredible strain on my legs and hurt myself going a quarter of a mile. But it still felt amazing. The speed powered by nothing other than my own body. It was like the feeling I felt when I was a kid and could skate. It felt akin to flying. You know, I used to dream I could fly, but it was hard. I had to get a running start and get a good jump, and it didn't always work, but I could fly in my dreams. But since I started riding a bike, those dreams haven't come anymore, because now I can experience the feeling like flight anytime I want. So I pushed myself. After I recovered, I got my gears right, I went a mile. And that seemed an incredible effort for the very first time. But I kept trying. I figured if I could do a 1 mile round trip, I could do a mile out in a straight line. And then I'd just have to suck it up and come the second mile back. If I could do a 2 mile round trip, I could go 2 miles in a straight line. Soon enough, by this logic, I found myself doing my first 10 miles. And the first time that happened, a huge thunderstorm dropped a giant load of rain on my head halfway through. I got offered a ride back, but I realized I knew I was coming up on something. My first 10 miler, so I pushed onward through the rain. And the accomplishment was worth feeling like a drowned rat. The thing about 10 miles, where I live, that's far enough to go a practical distance. And all of a sudden I realized I am no longer dependent on a car now that I can go 10 miles without one. I don't need to pay tens of thousands of dollars for the vehicle, thousands every year in upkeep and gas. I don't have to worry about a car breaking down as a sentence to poverty. I have something that only cost a few $100s, including its original purchase price, through its entire lifetime, and costs nothing to just ride. Suddenly I realized biking just for exercise wasn't the limit. I had a means of transport. It was freeing in more than one way. But I wanted to go further. Since I did 10 miles in a round trip, well, time to apply that logic again. I sucked it up and did a 20. And once I'd done a 20, I had a new goal. I decided that by my 40th birthday, I would make a trip of 40 miles. And you probably remember that as my 40 on 40. And that changed something else in me. I made yet another realization. Now I had a source of exercise and a means of transportation. I had something I think I'd longed for my entire life. I had a way to have an adventure. In this mundane world where every frontier has been tamed, but the human soul remains restless, don't we all have a right to an adventure, at least once in our lives? And once you've tasted that, once you've broken free of the normality, of the day-to-day grind, it's something that changes in you. You hunger for the next adventure. And while I am still a fat bastard who isn't terribly fast, and I'll never be a bicycle racer, I found something else I wanted to do, and that's called touring. To go adventure cycling. Ultimately, what I want to say is there are so many things you can do with a bicycle. You can get in shape. You can get free from being limited by the space around you. It can be affordable transportation, or it can be a grand adventure. It can be an almost Zen-like experience. It can be meditative. It can be damn near religious. And it can be a way to push your body to achieve things you never thought you could achieve. Whatever it is, I say get on a bicycle. It will change your life. And that's all I want to say. Go to your local bike shop, buy a used bike, jump on it, keep trying until it feels good. And just get out there. Because I realized this whole time I'm just sitting at home. I'm alive, but I'm not living. And what I've realized is life is movement, and movement is life. And if you don't feel alive, then move. Even if that first step requires a seemingly limitless amount of energy, just make that first move. Reach, strive, achieve. I guarantee you, a better life is waiting for you on two wheels. Thank you. I am Vinnie D out. Be good.